The wrestling world just exploded with developments that nobody saw coming, and if you're not paying attention right now, you're missing out on what could be the most intense build-up to a wrestling event in recent memory. Before we dive into all the chaos that's unfolding, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss a single update on what's happening next. The Vision has just made a move that sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling landscape by bringing in fresh blood for the upcoming War Games match, and this isn't just about filling spots on a team. This is about strategy, about power plays, and about someone who understands exactly how to tip the scales in their favor when the stakes couldn't be higher. War Games has always been the kind of match that separates the pretenders from the contenders, and having the right people on your side can mean the difference between walking out victorious or being carried out on a stretcher. What makes this recruitment drive so fascinating is the calculated precision behind every single choice. The Vision didn't just go out and grab whoever was available or whoever wanted a spot on the team. This was about identifying specific skill sets, specific strengths, and bringing in individuals who can handle the absolute brutality that War Games demands. When you step into those two rings surrounded by that unforgiving steel cage, you better believe that every single person on your team needs to be ready for war in the most literal sense possible. The new members being brought in represent a diverse array of fighting styles and backgrounds, which immediately tells you that the Vision is thinking several steps ahead. This isn't about having 5 people who all do the same thing, because that would be predictable and easily countered. This is about creating a unit where each member complements the others, where weaknesses are covered and strengths are amplified to maximum effect. When the match starts and that cage door locks behind everyone involved, having that kind of versatility could prove to be the ultimate deciding factor. One of the most intriguing aspects of these new additions is how they change the entire dynamic of what everyone expected this War Games match to be. Before these announcements, people had their predictions locked in and they thought they knew exactly how things would play out. Now all those predictions have been thrown out the window because the variables have completely shifted. The opposing team now has to completely rethink their strategy and approach because they're not facing the lineup they thought they would be facing. The chemistry between existing team members and these newcomers is going to be absolutely crucial moving forward. War Games isn't the kind of match where you can just throw 5 individuals together and hope for the best. You need cohesion, you need trust, and you need people who can anticipate what their teammates are going to do before they even do it. The limited time between now and the actual match means that building that chemistry has to happen fast, and it has to happen effectively, or the whole thing could fall apart when it matters most. Looking at the skill sets that these new members bring to the table reveals exactly why the Vision targeted them specifically. There's a mix of technical prowess, raw power, high-flying ability, and strategic intelligence that creates a well-rounded unit capable of adapting to whatever gets thrown at them. War Games has a way of throwing curveballs at competitors throughout the match, and being able to adjust on the fly while trapped in that cage environment requires a special kind of awareness and capability. The reaction from the rest of the roster has been intense because everyone understands what this means for the balance of power. When you start assembling a team this strong for War Games, you're not just making a statement about one match. You're making a statement about dominance, about control, and about who's going to be calling the shots moving forward. Other factions and teams are watching this development closely because they know that whoever emerges victorious from War Games is going to have serious momentum going forward. What really amplifies the significance of these additions is the timing of when they were announced. This wasn't done quietly or subtly. This was done with maximum impact to send a message not just to the opposing team but to everyone watching. The psychological warfare aspect of War Games begins long before anyone steps into that cage, and the Vision clearly understands how to play that game at an elite level. Then we have Stephanie Vaquer's surprise appearance, which absolutely nobody predicted, and the reaction when she showed up was exactly what you would expect when someone of her caliber makes an unexpected arrival. Vaquer has built a reputation as someone who brings intensity and skill wherever she goes, and her involvement in what's developing adds another massive layer to an already complex situation. This isn't someone who's going to be content sitting on the sidelines watching everything unfold. The timing of Vaquer's surprise connects directly to everything else happening right now, and that's not a coincidence. When you look at the bigger picture and how all these pieces are fitting together, it becomes clear that there's a larger plan in motion. Vaquer showing up when she did suggests coordination and strategy rather than random chance. Someone who competes at her level doesn't just appear without purpose and without knowing exactly what role they're going to play. What makes Vaquer's involvement so compelling is how it changes the dynamics for the women's division and potentially impacts multiple storylines simultaneously. Her presence demands attention and forces everyone else to elevate their game because she's not someone you can just overlook or dismiss. The ripple effects of her surprise are still being felt and will continue to influence decisions and directions for the foreseeable future. The speculation about what Vaquer's role will be moving forward is running wild, and everyone has their theories about where this is headed. Some think she's aligning with specific people, while others believe she's carving out her own path entirely separate from existing factions and allegiances. What we do know is that someone with her abilities and mindset isn't going to be satisfied with anything less than major opportunities and significant moments. Vaquer's track record speaks for itself, and anyone who's followed her career knows exactly what she's capable of delivering when given the platform. She's competed at the highest levels in multiple promotions and consistently proven that she belongs in any conversation about the best in the business. Bringing that pedigree and that hunger into an already heated environment is like pouring gasoline on a fire that was already burning hot. The connections between Vaquer's surprise and the War Games situation might not be immediately obvious, but don't be surprised if we start seeing those threads come together as we get closer to the event. Wrestling rarely operates in isolated incidents, and what appears to be separate storylines often converge in ways that create even bigger moments. Keeping track of how all these elements interact is part of what makes this period so engaging for everyone watching. Now we shift to CM Punk accepting a challenge that has everyone talking, and this is the kind of moment that instantly elevates whatever program it's attached to. When Punk accepts something, you know it's going to be significant because he's not someone who wastes time on meaningless confrontations or throwaway moments. His acceptance came with the kind of intensity and conviction that immediately told everyone this is going to be must-see. The build-up to Punk's acceptance involved layers of tension and confrontation that had been brewing for weeks if not longer. This wasn't a sudden decision made in the heat of the moment. This was calculated, considered, and delivered with the kind of purpose that only someone with Punk's experience and confidence can pull off. When he finally said yes, the weight of that acceptance was felt by everyone involved and everyone watching. What Punk accepting means for his opponent is enormous pressure and enormous opportunity rolled into one package. Getting a match or confrontation with CM Punk is the kind of thing that can define a career or elevate someone to a completely different level. But that also means the expectations are sky high, and anything less than an incredible performance is going to be viewed as a disappointment. Punk has a way of bringing out the best in his opponents, but he also has a way of exposing those who aren't ready for that level of competition. The promo work leading up to Punk's acceptance showcased exactly why he's considered one of the best talkers in wrestling history. Every word was deliberate, every pause was meaningful, and the overall delivery created the kind of anticipation that money can't buy. When Punk is locked in and focused on something, his ability to captivate an audience is virtually unmatched. His acceptance wasn't just about saying yes, it was about setting the stage for something special. Looking at what this acceptance means for upcoming programming reveals that we're in for some incredible television in the near future. Punk doesn't do anything halfway, and whatever this leads to is going to demand everyone's attention. The creative possibilities are endless when you involve someone who understands the business as deeply as Punk does and who still has the drive to deliver moments that people will remember long after they happen. The reaction from fans to Punk's acceptance has been overwhelmingly positive because people understand what they're about to witness. There's a reason why Punk's returns and major moments generate the kind of buzz that very few others can match. He represents a certain standard of quality and authenticity that resonates with audiences who are hungry for real emotion and real stakes in their wrestling programming. Connecting all three of these major developments together paints a picture of a wrestling landscape that's more exciting and unpredictable right now than it has been in quite some time. The vision bringing in new members for War Games creates one massive talking point. Stephanie Vaquer's surprise adds another dimension entirely. CM Punk accepting whatever challenge came his way adds yet another layer of must-see content. When you put all of that together in the same time frame, it's impossible not to be engaged with what's happening. The timing of all these announcements and moments suggests careful planning and coordination to maximize impact and attention. Wrestling operates in cycles of momentum, and right now the momentum is building towards something significant. Whether all of these storylines eventually intersect or remain separate threads, each one carries enough weight to stand on its own while contributing to an overall sense that important things are happening. For War Games specifically, having these new team members changes every calculation about how the match might unfold. The strategy sessions happening behind the scenes must be intense because both teams know that one mistake, one miscommunication, one moment of hesitation could cost them everything. War Games historically produces some of the most brutal and memorable encounters in wrestling, and this year's edition is shaping up to potentially surpass previous versions. The physicality required for War Games cannot be overstated, and having team members who can endure that kind of punishment while still performing at a high level is essential. The new additions brought in by the Vision clearly were chosen with that reality in mind. These aren't people who shy away from hardcore environments or brutal confrontations. These are competitors who thrive when things get violent and chaotic, which is exactly what War Games delivers from start to finish. Stephanie Vaquer's future moves are going to be scrutinized heavily because her surprise appearance opened up so many questions about intentions and allegiances. In wrestling, trust is always complicated and temporary at best. Today's ally can become tomorrow's enemy, and Vaquer entering this environment means she's going to have to navigate those treacherous waters carefully. Her decisions in the coming weeks will tell us everything we need to know about where she sees herself fitting into the larger picture. CM Punk's acceptance sets him on a collision course with destiny once again, and the journey to whatever match or confrontation this leads to will be appointment viewing. Punk has always understood how to build anticipation and how to make people care about the outcome of his matches. His opponents get elevated by association, but they also get put under a microscope where every flaw and weakness becomes magnified. The pressure is intense, but the rewards for rising to that challenge are enormous. The intersection of these three storylines, even if they don't directly connect, creates an atmosphere where anything feels possible and where the next big moment could happen at any time. Wrestling is at its best when multiple compelling stories are running simultaneously and when fans have multiple reasons to tune in every single week. Right now we have exactly that kind of environment, and the potential for where things could go from here is limitless. As we head toward the major events and confrontations that these developments are building toward, the intensity is only going to increase. The Vision's War Games team needs to gel quickly and prove that the new additions were the right choices. Stephanie Vaquer needs to show everyone why her surprise appearance was such a big deal and what she plans to do with the opportunity in front of her. CM Punk needs to deliver on the promise his acceptance created and prove once again why he's one of the most compelling figures in wrestling. Make sure you subscribe because you absolutely don't want to miss what happens next as these stories continue to unfold and develop in ways that nobody can fully predict.